This is Twit.
You got hands-on with Be Quiet's Dark Base 900. I was also laughing because you had a link to a $999 case, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why that case was $1,000.
Where's my link? It's gone. Oh well.
I don't know. We'll find it.
Okay.
I'll find it. You talk about the Be Quiet Dark Base 900.
Well, it's the top of the line from Be Quiet, and they have a number of cases kind of hitting different price targets. The 700, the Dark Base 700 was the last one we looked at here, and that was their limited edition in white, and it comes in a standard black. This is the full tower, so the top of the line. This thing retails at $269, and looking it over, just initial exterior impressions, it's got an aluminum skin. It's not all aluminum. It has an aluminum skin over like the top and front panels, and looks very sharp. The front door opens with like spring closures, and inside you have your typical like enclosed fan intake where you're drawing air from this sort of mesh that's around the perimeter of the top and front panels. And inside, not only do you have fan intakes, but you have two 5.25 bays, which is very unusual for a case these days. So if you still, like to use optical drives, this is one of the cases that can be on your list now of like multi DVD-ROM or DVD-RW Blu-ray drives will fit in this thing. Previously, I think that it's been just a single optical bay that I find in just a case here and there, and this one actually has two. The Fractal Design Define R6, if I'm getting the number right, has one. The R5, I think, had two, but they've dropped one of them. So it's just interesting things. It has a wireless charger for your phone built into the top of the case, which the original Dark Base 900 had as well. This is the revision 2. It came out last year, I believe, and it basically updated I/O, so it has the faster, like Gen 2 USB 3.1 Type-C port on the top. It has a fast-charging USB port for a phone, plus that wireless charging pad, and kind of some interesting touches to the way that this case is constructed. The bottom shroud, a lot of cases we see with PSU shrouds on the bottom, on the inside, and this one is kind of modular. You can take it out, and you actually have to take it out to build the case because the PSU mounts underneath it, which is kind of unusual. Just some things that it takes a little bit of extra time to build this case, but when you look at the rather massive accessory pack it comes with all these extra parts for mounting liquid cooling and additional cooling and extra SSDs, and comes with 3 extra hard drive cages, and so it's pretty deluxe. So I started to kind of come down a little bit when I initially my sticker shock at the $269, and of course it's funny that you mentioned at the outset this $1,000 case that InWin announced that's available now, but $269 is a lot for a case. And then of course InWin's 928 Super Tower, which you found,
or so you thought.
like, oh, well, $999. Well, I expect that. InWin always has like these like just absolutely beautiful but very, very expensive kind of, I guess I'll use the word aspirational computer cases that look unbelievable in their CES booth, like the motorized case, the H-frame, I think, and they have just some wonderful all aluminum designs that are just staggeringly expensive. But here I am complaining about a mere $269. It seems like every case I touch has to be at least $200. It's like another week, another $200 case. How much is this one? Oh, $199. That figures. But back to the Dark Base 900 version 2, revision 2. It's very quiet. It's a Be Quiet case. They started as a company that made those panels that went inside of computer cases to make them quieter, and they have those inside of every, panel on this except for the glass side, of course.
Right.
So there's a bit of a concession there to make it look pretty and to see your build. And this comes with RGB lighting, which you don't have to use. They're separate lighting strips that you put wherever you want. But it's all very, very, very well put together, very impressively built, as always. I've reviewed, I think, 3 of their cases so far, and they always have extremely, like, everything is lined up really well. Everything is machined well. I never have any issues with the build process at all. This one's just a little bit more complex. I actually had to use the manual, which, who reads the manual? But of course, you should always read the manual when you're building a computer case. But I had to. I'm like, what? How do I put the PSU in here? What's going on? Where does that screw go? So it all went together. It looks fine. Yeah. And a surprising amount of airflow. It doesn't really show up in pictures. You look at a solid door with a big panel on the inside of it to reduce noise, and you're thinking this thing is going to be like a little oven, but it moves quite a bit of air. It comes with 340 millimeter fans, and temperatures were not going to be, as good as they would be in an airflow case with a mesh front panel, but they were perfectly fine, and it was very quiet. I mean, my highest noise level recorded was under 34 decibels. It was like 33 point something. So very, very quiet. And then you do have the option of tweaking the fan controller. They use this interesting dual zone fan controller on their higher end cases that has, I think, 4 fans on each channel. So you can have, I think, 8 or maybe it's 10 connected to it. And you can choose, there's a little switch on the controller itself for each channel. You can say, well, this is the performance side and that's the quiet side, or leave them both at performance or quiet. And I left them at quiet. And then in addition to that, there's this stepless fan speed controller above those optical bays. And you can just slide it to the left and right to, like, on the fly, change your fan speeds and even further fine tune them beyond that switch. So a very good level of control just to hit whatever kind of thermal and especially noise target you're trying to reach with the case. And, if you've got 200 plus to spend on a case, and you start looking at things like, well, how quiet is it? Obviously, do you like the aesthetics? Does it have the room you need? And then this enters in to the equation of, does it have optical drive support, which, you're not going to find a lot of cases with 2 of them. So I've talked about it enough. You can read the review if you want to see more. I think I took like 40 or 50 pictures in this one, just galleries of images galore.